Hey y'all, it's Ben and KH. She's joining me again.
Yay!
How's it going?
Every day with a KH is a good day, right?
Well, let's not push it. So we got a couple comments from the last video that you and I did together. Apparently we were supposed to talk about diabetes and whether it can be cured or not.
Yes.
What our conclusion was to 2 videos ago when Frank wrote me the original comment that got everybody talking about, is diabetes a thing or is it not a thing? Are you born with diabetes? You know, what constitutes diabetes and can you be cured of it or can it go into remission, right?
Yeah.
The whole comment that started it from Frank was, I'm so happy for you, Ben. Great numbers all around, but I still say you're not a true diabetic. It was because of your weight and eating habits. A true diabetic needs to be on meds. I'm on Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I take 2 diabetic meds and I watch what I eat and how much I weigh. I weigh 150 pounds and my A1C is 6.4, and that is considered good for me being a diabetic. So be happy that you're not a diabetic. You just had high numbers with your lifestyle. So when I read that comment, I was like, man, I wonder if I was just fat, right? Was I just fat and my numbers were high? I kind of knew better because I've heard all this time, and I always go with, but so many times in the recent past, I have been disproven of things that I've believed for a really long time. So I'm starting to open my mind up a little bit more than I used to.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's question this, right? Let's do some research and let's find out what diabetes really is. And was I a fake diabetic and I, just lost the weight and now I'm not a diabetic? What do you have to say about that?
I think no. I think that once a diabetic, always a diabetic. Now, according to insurance, your numbers are good enough that it shows that you're not diabetic. According to numbers.
That's because the insurance companies are rat bastards.
Yes.
Right? So an example of this is I was trying to get a continuous glucose monitor so I could train myself, right, on what I could eat, when I could eat, when I couldn't eat. It would have been awesome for my health and an amazing investment in my health.
Yeah.
Insurance says, well, you're not considered diabetic since your A1C is 5.5.
Yeah, see, now if he tried to go back on Mounjaro, they wouldn't pay for it.
They won't pay for it.
I'm pre-diabetic and they won't pay.
They won't pay for it.
But I don't want to take it, so.
Nope, because we figured out that you can control your diabetes.
Yeah, you got to retrain your mind.
You have to retrain a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff,
And you not only retrain your mind, but you have to retrain just about everything. All your habits. What you eat, that was the biggest thing, I think.
And a lot of people eat for psychological reasons.
That's true, but we're not talking about that today.
I know.
Today we're talking about
diabetes. No, I don't think that you...
Can it be cured?
I think that you are in... Like cancer has remission, you're in remission for diabetes. Our dog wants to come in. He opens the door.
I can just take that out.
Okay.
So you think I'm in remission?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of like cancer.
Kind of like cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what
That means that at any time that you decide that you want to go back to your old ways, you could be diabetes could be brought back to active status.
Right. Wouldn't necessarily need to gain all the weight back. Like if I started drinking maybe alcohol.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My diabetes could flare up, right?
Yes.
And return.
Because the alcohol is nothing but pure sugar.
See, this is what I think too. I think that diabetes, like everything in life, right? Everybody's different, right? Everybody has diabetes. Everybody that has diabetes on a spectrum.
Right.
You either have a really light case of diabetes, like you, where you're kind of pre-diabetic, and you're right on that verge of being a diabetic. It goes all the way from the pre-diabetes on this side all the way over to this other side, where it's just like you're raging diabetic.
Yeah. But
and there's nothing that's going to be done. You're going to have your feet cut off and all kinds of bad stuff's going to happen to you. And there's not much you can do about it. And some of that stuff is genetic, and some of that stuff is self-induced, right?
Yes,
Through what we eat and what we drink. So it goes from that extreme. It goes from one extreme to another. You're like either very diabetic, you're in the middle, or you're at the lower end of the spectrum.
Do you know what I can't figure out though?
What's
so I quit drinking.
Yeah.
Changed all of those habits, lost 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And my A1C is still 6.0.
Yeah.
Same as it was before.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I actually have to do some exercising.
You might have to. You're different, right? You're different. So some people, all they have to do is watch what they eat, right? Watch what they eat.
Yeah.
Lower your because carbohydrates is what produces the sugar in your system, and what you want to do is not produce as much sugar in your system, right?
Right.
So you kind of want to concentrate on the proteins and the fats.
Yeah.
There's a lot of foods out there that say, "Oh, the fat's taken out of this food."
Yeah.
Why would you take the fat out? It's not even. It doesn't even make you gain weight or nothing, right? Yeah. Fat is like one of the best foods for somebody that's trying to lose weight. Fat and protein.
Avocados.
Right.
I love avocados.
So just drop your cholesterol. Now, by no means are we medical professionals.
No.
We're just talking about what worked for us and stuff that we don't really have a script, right? Other than me reading what Frank's comment was at the beginning of this, we don't really have a script. So
let us know what y'all think. Can you be cured for diabetes,
so
or are you in remission?
Let's get to the bottom line. Is it remission, or is it just managing the disease, right? I think it's, once you have diabetes, you always have diabetes. And this is proven to me through all the research that I did. Doctors, and I don't necessarily believe in, or I don't really research governmental health agencies.
Yeah.
I prefer to get from the doctor's papers and research papers and stuff like that. From everything that I've read, once you're a diabetic, you're always a diabetic, right? So even though I'm able to manage my diabetes through diet and exercise down to a level that if I went into an unsuspecting doctor and they tested me, they would say, you're not diabetic. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because my blood tells them that.
If they didn't have his medical records, they would say you're not diabetic.
But like you said, if I return to my old lifestyle, like eating fast food, and
whole cans of corned beef hash,
basically up in my carbohydrate level
with white bread,
and starting to produce those sugars again in my body, I'd be right back to being a diabetic. So the disease doesn't go away. There are some people that can eat like that and don't have that problem.
Yeah, I love
a diabetic
and potatoes.
Somebody who's a diabetic that eats like that will have that problem. Therefore, I say diabetes is a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, like probably Frank is, because he said that, what did he say? He's on Mounjaro at 15 milligrams, and his blood is still tested at 6.4, which is not considered diabetic, right?
It isn't?
Is it?
I thought it was. I thought anything over 6.2.
Yeah, that's right. So it's considered diabetic, right? But he's doing all this stuff, and not only is he on Mounjaro, he's on another diabetic drug. So he's so far over on the spectrum that all those diabetes meds are barely keeping him at 6.4, right?
Wow.
I do diet and exercise, and he's about my weight.
Yeah.
And I can keep my A1C down to about 5.5.
Yeah.
So we're all different, Frank. We're all different.
Right.
Yes, you're a diabetic, but so am I. I'm just like managing my diabetes because I can. You're not able to, so that's unfortunate for you.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for those people that can't.
Right. I just don't understand all the medical.
Right. There's a lot to it. But here's the thing. If you're thinking that you want to try to manage your diabetes on your own through diet and exercise, you should definitely give it a go, because if you don't, you'll never know.
Right.
Right? And I'm one of those guys that if I don't have to be on a pharmaceutical, I would like to be off that pharmaceutical. And if I can do that naturally, that's the way I want to do it.
Yep.
All right. So a little background on my vlog here, you guys. In case you want to stick around, and
sure.
We're going to talk a little bit about where I started at, where I came from, and how Mounjaro really helped me out.
Okay, go.
So when I started, I was about 250 pounds. I started losing weight on my own. Yeah, I was pretty huge. Yeah, I was big. My face was big. Everything was big, right? And I didn't feel good. I wasn't a happy person.
Speaking of that, we have a video.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
pool video.
The pool video that we put out yesterday to say, hey, we're not putting out a video today. I was watching that and I was like, man, look at my gut. It wasn't huge at that point, but it was on its way to getting huge, right?
I was pretty big.
And you were pretty big too.
Yeah, my belly was sticking out.
So we went out earlier today and we did the side-by-side thing to compare what it was like then, not too long ago, and what we're like now. Just to give you some kind of idea of what we're doing. Now Karen, KH, that I call her, she didn't do Mounjaro at all. She's losing weight naturally on her own by just watching what she eats to start, and then she's going to start up an exercise routine pretty soon. Probably jazzercise or something like that, right?
Yeah.
She's getting in shape so she can go to the gym and not be embarrassed. I think all us fat folks or past fat folks can identify with that. I was always embarrassed to go to the gym when I was
Do you know, one time in Hawaii when I was at Jazzercise, I had this lady ask me if I was pregnant. And I told her, nope, it's a 6-pack of Heinies.
Oh. Nice.
She didn't talk to me ever, and I never saw her again after that.
She never showed up again.
No.
Anyway, so I lost the weight down to about 180, 190 pounds. And I flatlined. I couldn't lose any more weight. Regardless of what I tried to exercise, I tried dieting, I tried everything. It just didn't work. For some reason, it just didn't take. So I just committed to myself to being at that weight. Then I find out I have diabetes and my doctor put me on Mounjaro. With Mounjaro, I went from 180, 190 down to 147 pounds, y'all. 147.
Yeah.
It was too much weight. I wasn't feeling great at 147, and I had noticed that when I was passing between like 165 to about 160, I was feeling, or 150, I was feeling pretty good, right? But when I got below that 150 mark, I wasn't. So
walking Skeletor.
I just not feeling good. She didn't like the way I looked. So I purposely decided to up my intake a little bit on the calories and gain some weight back. So since then, and that's been months ago, I shot for 155 to 165, and I've been maintaining that now for a couple of months, right? Through diet and exercise. And I weigh once a week. And
not so much exercise because you haven't really.
Not lately. I have to make an admission. It's been cold as hell here, you guys.
Yeah, we can't get out and walk in the snow.
In the morning it's 20-some degrees, and in the evening it's 20-some degrees. During the day, the highest it gets is in the 40s maybe. It's just too cold to walk. Yeah. So I haven't been lately. So I've been really watching what I eat to make up for that. But as soon as the good weather comes back, I'll be right back out there.
And you know what I do? To exercise. When I'm mopping, I turn on music and I mop and dance.
Yeah, it's a sight to see. I should record that next time.
Yeah,
it's very entertaining. Okay, so all that being said, now I've been maintaining my weight between 155 and 165, right? Through diet and exercise. Now, you saw that I was losing weight. I think you saw one day when I was getting out of the shower, you kind of noticed.
Yeah.
I was looking a little...
very, very... nice.
A little swelter than I used to, and you decided you'd like to do that too, but you didn't want to do it with Mounjaro.
Well, I couldn't.
Because you're not diabetic.
Right. And well
So you decided I'm gonna do this, eat what he's eating, do what he's doing, right?
Well, I have to cook your meals. So I kinda had to do it along with you.
Yeah, and you do, and I really appreciate it. I couldn't have done this without her, you guys, honestly. I don't think I could have anyway. Maybe I could have.
This man is going to need help if I go before he does because he can't, he'll be standing in the refrigerator. Where's the A1 sauce?
Yeah.
It's right in front of his face.
Okay. No need to apply yet, ladies. Hopefully we got a couple more years left in us. So anyway, so that's my story. What's your story about? You saw me losing the weight. What did you say to yourself? What motivated you to lose it? You didn't want to be left behind, or what was the deal?
I'm
already doing
drinking is no fun by yourself. And
right.
That very last time that I drank, I had 4 Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Yeah.
And I felt like shit.
Yeah.
Really bad. Right before I was going to bed, too. Yeah. I mean, that was my MO. Drink until you're ready to eat, then eat, then go to bed.
That's what we both did.
Terrible.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
No.
That's one lifestyle change.
That we definitely made.
That's one of the biggest
right
ones.
Up front, yeah. Now we try to eat by 5.
Yeah.
Or no later than 6.
Yeah. That's another lifestyle change. Another one was giving up smoking. Believe it or not, smoking caused us to gain weight. For some reason, I don't know why.
You know why? Because whenever I smoked, I didn't like the taste of it.
So you would eat something?
So no, I would drink
right.
Dr. Pepper or Coke
Sodas.
or sodas. I don't do those anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless I find a place that has Mexican Coke.
Yeah.
Because it's the original and it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So you do have Mexican Coke every once in a while you're out. And it's not like I've cut all carbohydrates, because I certainly haven't. I still have carbohydrates, but much, much smaller portions, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you know what else?
I try to concentrate my foods on the proteins and the fat mostly these days, and no processed foods, hardly.
I buy a lot of fruit, and when I bring it home, I clean it up, and like the grapes, I take them off the... Yeah, I just clean everything up, put it in containers so people can open it up and grab them.
Yeah, pre-preparing healthy snacks in the refrigerator when you're hungry or when you're snacking. That's a really great option to have when you're reaching for something and you want something really quick.
Also, Kind bars are excellent.
But we weren't talking about this stuff. We're talking about...
I know.
You're just like me. You're ADHD too. Yeah. So
okay.
Maybe that's why we get
back to it.
So yeah, let's get back to it.
We got to weigh you.
Yeah, so last week's weight for me was 162.2. And like I was telling everybody, I weigh once a week. I don't weigh more than that. I don't weigh less than that.
That's a good idea.
Once a week.
You don't get disappointed.
Not every 7 days, but once every other week, right? So not once every other week. Once a week.
Yeah.
So last week I weighed on Monday. This week I'm weighing on Tuesday.
Okay.
So my weight last week, 162.2, and I might as well tell you what my blood sugar has been. So it's been good lately, you guys. Last week I was pretty surprised because it was 111, which was the lowest it's been in months and months and months.
Yeah.
And this week it's kind of like getting back to normal. It was 121 this week.
Okay.
All right. So 162.2. $162.2 on the weight last week. Let's see where we're at this week. All right.
Point 4 pounds.
0.4 pounds is what I gained.
Yeah.
Yep. I gained 0.4 pounds, but I'm still between that 155 and 165, right?
Yeah.
Now, next week, I would like to see it maybe 162.4 or 162.2. That means that I'm keeping my weight pretty accurate, level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I want to get more towards the 160 because that's halfway between 155 and 165. Mm-hmm. So, but as far as the question goes, I think we answered it.
Yes.
At least our opinion is. Frank's opinion may be different. Frank may think that I'm still fake diabetic, and that's fine, right? But I know that I'm not.
Yeah.
So there's no fake diabetics. You either are or you aren't, and you can never get rid of that. Once you're a diabetic, you're always a diabetic, in our opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next week about something else. What do you want to talk about next week? Oh.
Camping. I want to go camping.
Are you going to join me next week, or am I?
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
See you next week.